He is the mayor of the city of Boston. He's a kid who grew up here. He's someone who never forgets where he comes from. He is someone who loves events like this because this is what makes the city of Boston so great. All of you and this guy right here, Boston Mayor Marty Walsh.
I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause, live for the way that you cheer and scream for me. The applause, applause, applause.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Maria. And I want to thank Viola Davis for her inspiring words, and she's certainly a tough act to follow. I don't know how I ended up following her, and that's not good. And as I was backstage, we're talking about there's 11,000 women and people going to be here today, and I said, it's great. Usually at this early, you see half the hall full, and there's like 11,000 people here. So thank you for being here today. I want to thank you all and I want to thank the Massachusetts Conference for Women and everyone for joining us here this morning at the Convention Center. It's an honor to host so many incredible women in our city. I want to thank the conference for their crucial work they do empowering women in the workplace. Their commitment to gender pay, equity, and increasing women's leadership is a commitment to the city of Boston and that we share. I want to do a couple things before I get into my remarks, and I won't be here all day, I promise you. I want to thank you, State Street, for sponsoring today. So let's give a nice round of applause for State Street. And I have a little favor. Out in the hallway, there's a kiosk, and the Big Sister Association is there. And they're looking to recruit today 75 mentees, and they need 400. And as I look around this room, there's certainly more than 400 people in this room, and they had an incredible event the other night in Boston where they recognized two people. One was Sharon McNally, who runs Camp Harborview in Boston, and the other woman, you might know her name was Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton. And it was incredible what happened there. So I'm asking you, Massachusetts, we need 400 women today to sign up with Big Sisters to help mentor somebody in the city of Boston. I think we can handle that today. So thank you if you can do that. I'd also like to recognize the City of Boston's Office of Women's Advancement and our director, Megan Costello, who's here. She's going to be leading a breakfast session on Boston's work later today. She and her team has guided Boston and the city's tremendous strides in advocating for women. In just the past few years, we've trained thousands of women on how to negotiate their salaries. We've gotten hundreds of companies, both big companies and small companies, to anonymously report wage data so we can understand the wage gaps that we have here in the city of Boston. We've passed the paid family leave for city employees. We've expanded hours for supportive services for survivors of sex trafficking. We've helped pass historic pay equity legislation in the Commonwealth, and I put that on there because that is important. But in Boston, I'm tired of talking about legislation that we passed that doesn't make a difference, and we're doing all these other things to finally make a difference so that we can move and see a culture shift in our city. And we are seeing that culture shift. In the Boston City Council, in 2009, we elected our first woman of color to the council, 2009. It's 2017. This year, in our swearing in January 1st, we will have 6 women on the council, all women of color in the city of Boston, out of our 13 members. I'm proud of the progress that we've made here in Boston, but we still have a long, long way to go. The gender wage gap is a serious problem across our country. Not because it's socially unjust, but also because it's bad for our economy as a whole. We know when women succeed, we all succeed, and we see that here in Boston. In order to change to happen, we have to address both policy and culture. We have to recognize the responsibilities we all have to create change, especially men. As mayor of the city and as a man, I am deeply committed to ensuring women have equal representation and voices in my administration and in all of Boston. Men have a critical role to play in shifting the workplace culture to a place where women are respected, valued, and treated as leaders. I don't have to tell people in this room the barriers women still face and the frustration we feel still needing to have these conversations in 2017. But I do want to talk about culture shift that is occurring. And it's not happening by accident. It's a direct result of the concentrated efforts made by women knowing their values and not being afraid to speak up about their experiences. And as the movement grows, we're seeing powers in numbers. And speaking about powers in numbers, just look at recent stories coming out about the sexual harassment in the workplace. The stories of women are coming forward about their experience are deeply disturbing, but they're also incredibly important. Each story told creates a ripple effect across all industries. Yesterday, Time magazine announced that the 2017 Person of the Year award is the Silence Breakers, the women and men of the Me Too movement. Last year they had you know who. This year they got it right, so I want to thank them for that. As a society, we're making it clear. No one is exempt, no matter how powerful they are. Everyone has the right to feel safe and respected in their work environments. This is why gender parity is critical to ending sexual harassment and closing the gender wage gap. We know there are more women on boards and leadership positions than ever before. We're beginning to see a positive culture change. The closer we get to true equity in the workplace, the less tolerant we become for inexcusable behaviors. And we create a strong culture shift that doesn't need to slide backwards. Again, we have a lot of work to do, but we are moving in the right direction. I have a lot of hope for our future, for our city, for our state, and for our country. Thank you to every single woman in this room. The energy and the power in this room is incredible. Take what you learned today and go and change the world. Thank you very much.